Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to talk about the 60mm Nikon f2.8 macro. It's an autofocus macro lens I've had a little while to evaluate. Let's get into it. For some time, I have felt the need of a decent macro lens. I had a go at getting hold of one with this Sigma 100mm YS and discovered what is perhaps the worst macro lens of all time. However, it's actually very good at being a portrait lens and a walkabout lens, and it's a real art lens. So I'm actually not sad that I picked it up. But that still left a hole in my collection of lenses for something that did macro. Now, I had my attention drawn, because of getting hold of a Nikon f4, to the autofocus Micro Nikkor 60mm f2.8D. This little beastie, which I managed to pick up for just over £100. It's an interesting proposition, shorter than I would have wanted at 60mm, because I much prefer something in the 100mm area for macro. But at the right price, this seemed like something interesting to go with. The construction of the lens is, I would say, pretty tough. Some of it certainly appears to be aluminium alloy, certainly a large part of the focusing ring, or the bit in front of the focusing ring here seems to be. Other bits appear to be polycarbonate. I've got nothing against polycarbonate at all. I should think this lens would take a decent drop for you if necessary. And it feels solid, weighty, and a handful, like most good Nikon lenses do. The barrel's furnished with an autofocus limiter, which stops you from going into the mega close-up range. That's the closest range that you get with the focus limiter on, and then you take that off and you can go right out. And you notice that all the elements kind of come to the front from this initially deeply dished front element well. They all come to the front, and this is important later on when I come to talk about flare. Anyway, I decided to take this lens yesterday afternoon when we had a little window of fine weather, and take it down to my close hand test place, which is Hollow Ponds, which is about 15 minutes walk from our flat. So I took it down there and I'll show you some of the results. Well, firstly, can this lens produce nice background blur? Well, yes it can, but under certain circumstances, with certain aperture and subject stroke background distance combinations, it can get just a little bit jittery and a little bit confused. One of the best aspects of this lens has got to be its colour transmission. Reds just absolutely come out and kick you. Blues are nicely saturated, but it's a grown-up colour palette. It's not excessive, it's just beautiful and punchy. Here we can start to see some of the incredible sharpness that this lens is capable of, particularly if you look around the reeds, around the edge of the screen. This was shot on about f2.8. Now the swan shot is particularly interesting because I'm going to go for a very tight crop on this to show you exactly the sharpness that exists both in the centre and at the edges wide open with this lens. Something to watch out for on this lens is flare. On this hole in a tree trunk, I focused closer and closer, and you'll see in the next couple of images, and I was getting some quite unpleasant flare on the left hand side of the image, and this was as the front elements of the lens popped out further and further from the barrel. I shaded with my hand and you can see it's pretty much all disappeared. So that is something to watch out for, and I'll be using a good deep lens hood in future. The focusing action of this lens feels lovely, but it's a very, very short throw between one end and the other of the focus, and this means getting precise focus on moving subjects is really difficult. I missed focus on the centre pigeon's eye in this shot and actually put it on his feet, which is a shame. But I think it's far more of an autofocus based lens, which is fairly obvious as it was designed for an autofocus camera. But if you're going to be using it manual focus on, as I was using something like a Sony Alpha 7, it's worth bearing in mind that the focus will be a little bit jittery. So, what's my conclusion about the Nikon AF 60mm macro? Well, it's an interesting mixed bag. With the Sony A7, I felt I was being held back by the short and rather twitchy focus throw, which caused me to misfocus quite a few times. So as a walkabout lens with a digital body, it wasn't the easiest to use. Now, I've yet to use it as a walkabout lens with the Nikon f4, where I think it may perform considerably better because I can use the autofocus. I think if you are a film shooter with a Nikon autofocus camera, then I think it's a very good alternative for walkabout. If you are a digital shooter and you want to use it as a walkabout lens, it's going to be quite awkward, although it'll still be an absolutely cracking macro lens. So it's good in parts, and for the money I'd thoroughly recommend it. The flare is a little disturbing, and what I'll be looking to do is to fit a very deep lens hood on here so that when all of these elements are fully out, it's still suitably shaded. Good lens, few issues, and I give it a thumbs up. If you've enjoyed this video, perhaps you'd like to hit the like button. And if you liked it an awful lot, then perhaps you can hit the subscribe, because that really helps the channel. And I do like to hear from all of you. Comments and suggestions, always gratefully accepted. So, in this run-up to the holiday season, I think you can probably expect a couple more videos from me. You make sure you keep taking pictures, won't you? Take care. Bye.